Hi, welcome to Discern. I'm Courtney, and I'm so excited to be joining you all. Joining us is Nick Pitts. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Courtney. So good to be with you this morning.
All this week, we are going to be talking about all things digital, and today we are talking about social media. And our article comes from the Daily Mail, where a guy noticed that children's toys are often modeled on real-world scenarios, and one man has admitted to feeling sad after spotting a wooden social media set for sale aimed at children as young as 3. Posting on Reddit's Casual UK forum, the man shared a photograph of the 9-piece set, including a pretend camera, a tablet, a ring light, and a microphone. So, as a parent and as someone who is also very active on social media, I hear about this toy set and I cannot help but ask myself, do I want my kids growing up to be social media stars? Is there a difference between kids imagining careers as other potentially dangerous careers like first responders or doing athletics and the dangers surrounding social media? Nick, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think I think it's just the reality of the matter is that social media is increasingly becoming a greater part and an assumed part of how we live, move, and have our being here in the U.S. Specifically, we know that the average American is going to spend over an hour every day on social media. They're going to be staring at their phones upwards of 12 to 13 hours and using them in some form or fashion. We've even got research now that's indicating to us that the presence of a phone is hindering connection between people today. And so we know that it's just a part of what it is, but we also know that there's valuable pieces as well. There's a booming industry for individuals to be influencers on social media. When almost half of Americans are looking to social media for their purchases before they're actually making a purchase. So it's just natural to see that social media, one, is a part of who we are today, and then two, it's becoming a vocation that many individuals are wanting to take part in. So it just seems like it's the natural next step that we're going to have children's toys that show young kids that they too might be influencers.
Yeah, and I feel like we need to model for them more, just better boundaries around interacting with these pieces. I've heard someone say that we're the first generation that is raising 2 different personas, that like you have your real life child and an online child. And that is so stressful. Do you have any insight into how we can help provide structure around this and teach them?
Yeah, I think the natural reaction sometimes when we see something new, just within the human psyche, is to reject it more often than not. And so when we see social media, especially around our kids, we might say, no, this can't happen. We just want to naturally cut ourselves off to it. But the reality is there's a lot of good things that happen on social media. We reconnect with old friends. We strengthen current relationships with current friends. There's some great things that can happen on social media, bridging individuals that are far apart to bring them close, even though from a proximity standpoint, they might not be that close. But there's also some dangers, as many of us know all too well, especially for younger kids. Jean Twenge over at San Diego State University, some of her research has found that when teenagers are looking at their phones, they're less likely to be happy. We saw some of the Facebook files that came out with the Wall Street Journal a few months back that indicated that teenage girls were having appearance issues the more time that they spent on the site. That's something to be concerned about and something we should be aware of, but it's not necessarily in and of itself merit to completely cut off social media usage. I think in moderation might be a good tool, not only for children to be able to learn, but also for parents to model to their kids during those formative years.
Yeah, that's good advice. And I think it's like with all things, we need to be engaging in it and be ahead of it and be talking to our kids about it and being an example and just providing showing them a rhythm of getting off of these things.
Couldn't agree more. What we see, I'm often reminded when I think about moderation and when I think about boundaries, is I'm often reminded of Genesis 1, about how God, in the beginning, God was creating much, and he was creating the water and the land. He was creating the sky and the sea. And what we know to be true, especially during this time of year, is that when what is created exceeds its boundary, it can be detrimental. When the water exceeds the boundary of the ocean, it causes flooding, and that's detrimental. When the sun stays up for too long, it ruins the crop patterns as well, et cetera, and it's detrimental. What we want to be aware of is not necessarily that social media is bad in and of itself, but it's redeemable and it can be a very good thing. But it's important for us to set boundaries on it in order that we might be able to enjoy it and not be used by it.
Thank you, Nick. It's such a good reminder about boundaries and something that we can continue to model for our kids. Look forward to talking more about all things digital this week. We'll see you next time.